welcome back. We're here today to talk about girthing. What girth straps should you use? So if you're used to looking at a saddle, lifting up the flap and seeing 3 straps, and then one day you lift up a flap and see 5 straps, 4 straps, 3 straps, what do they all mean? Sit back, make yourselves a cup of tea and hopefully enjoy. So when we think of a standard GP saddle with its standard girthing, what do we think? We think about lifting up the flap and there being 1, 2, 3 straps, like this. 1, 2, 3. But did you know that not all girth straps are created equally? Did you know that they all have different functions? So as an example, there's that 3-strap saddle, but if we swap that for this 3-strap saddle, this saddle also has 3 straps, 1, 2, 3, but can you see they come from completely different places? And what about this saddle? Also has 3 straps, but you can move them around and there's a space here for another one. So we could put that one on there and still have 3 straps. So what is the difference? And then, just to complicate matters, what about saddles with more than 3 straps? This saddle here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straps, and this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4 straps. So you can see it's not quite as simple as every single saddle having 3 straps and everybody using the first and the third, because actually on different saddles the straps are different, they're in different places, they have different functions and they do different things. Probably the best way to look at it and to see the different functions that each strap does is to look at a 5-strap saddle, because that tends to incorporate all the strap options that we can have within reason. That has your 3 normal ones and your 2 extra ones, because usually on a saddle when you have 4 straps, 3 straps, 5 straps, they're a combination of those 5. They could be this one and this one, or they could be these ones, or they could be these ones, or they could be these ones. Does that make sense? So we'll have a look at this 5-strap saddle. I hope you can see there, because the sun, for the first time in like forever, we've got the sun out. Is that better? Can we see? 5-strapped saddle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay, I can count. So let's take away the extra straps. So when we look at it here with just the 3 middle straps, they're the 3 normal straps, the straps that we think of when we think of a normally girthed saddle. But like I've shown you a minute ago, not every saddle with 3 straps has these, but this is the most common 3-strapped kind of setup. And that consists of, let's give them a name, shall we? Let's call all of them a name and then we can refer to them in the future. So let's call them strap 1, strap 2, strap 3. Yeah? 1, 2, 3. And then let's call this one the point strap, because that's its name. And let's call this one the balance strap, because that's its name. Point, 1, 2, 3, balance. I'm going to run you really quickly through what the point and the balance strap do, but we're not going to go into that in too much depth because that is a whole different video. We can have a whole video on the point strap and we can have a whole video on the balance strap. I've got a really good idea for the title of the point one. It's going to be called What's the Point? Do you like it? What's the point? Point strap. In absolute the briefest of brief terms, please, this is not gospel, this is the briefest of brief terms. We will go into it in more detail, I promise. The point strap is here and it comes from what's called the point of the tree. So this point of the tree, out comes the point strap, and this is designed to stop your saddle from moving forwards. It does that by A, being placed further forwards from the rest of the strap so it can help with that kind of forward curved girth groove, and B, because it comes from the point of the tree, when it's done up it kind of, oh, this is a really bad word, but it's kind of the best word to describe it. It kind of anchors it behind the shoulder to stop it from coming forward. The word anchor is really like, sounds a bit harsh, a bit forced, and it is a little bit to a degree, which is why we shouldn't use these straps without knowing what they're there for and without our saddle fitters say so, because they can do damage if they're not used correctly, which is why I've done this video. Basically, balance strap. That's this little dingle dangly one at the back here. What does a balance strap do? The clue is kind of in the title. It helps to balance the saddle. Again, it has a million different functions, but the main function that people tend to use it for is for saddles that slip. So it can be used to really anchor it down, and it does that by its positioning, how it sits, how it works. So we'll have a whole video on the point strap and the balance strap. What's the point? Remember, keep your eye out for that. Today we're just going to talk about the different straps, the different numbers of straps and how we use them. So when we have the normal 3 strap saddle, with remembering their names, 1, 2, 3, we have this 1, 2, 3 saddle. When you look up here, when we think about the girthing and the girth straps, it's about where on the tree they come from. So if you think of the tree as like the skeleton, it's like the rigid skeleton inside the saddle. So then when we look at the girthing, it's about where on the tree they are attached. And that's what makes us know which ones they are. It's not about whether they're the first one or not. So although we're calling this 1, 2 and 3, you can see on this saddle, number 1 actually isn't the first strap. And we could quite easily have a saddle with 0.12. So if you're wondering what that sort of saddle would look like, that's a fairly common setup on a show saddle. This saddle here has got 0.1 and 2. So this is a standard 3 strap saddle. You could easily lift up that flap and think, oh, it's a normal saddle, I'll use the first and the third, because that's what I always use on my normal strap saddles. But actually this first strap is a point, this is a 0.12. No number 3, no balance. Yeah? Often used on the show saddles because it makes it a really forward girth. Like the girthing is really forward on the saddle, and that is because in showing they want to try and pull the saddle back from behind the shoulder because they want to show off that pony's shoulder. So that kind of girthing is more common on the show types, and often the show types for the more rotund creatures. But you can find it on lots of other saddles, but that's what it's most commonly used for, is the show type. And again, 0.12. So we've already said that the point straps come from the point of the tree. So we can do that by finding this point. If it comes kind of at a slight angle from the front here, there's a hard lump that it comes from, then that is the point. You can often see a little stitch line around here that's called the point pocket, and that helps also indicate that it's a point strap. So the point comes from the point. On a normal 3 strap saddle, remember 1, 2, 3, if you look up in here and you look at the webbing that they come off, so all the girth straps are attached to a little bit of webbing, and the webbing goes over the tree and attaches to its kind of like opposing friend, so like a little twin. So the little bit of webbing, you've got your girth strap, you've got your webbing, it comes over, attaches to the next one, and then that's the opposing one comes down off that. So when we look at the webbing here on number 1, it's on its own bit of webbing. We look at number 2 and 3, and they are on a joined bit of webbing. Now because of that, we would never ever ever on a 3 strap saddle use second and the third if they were attached to the same bit of webbing. But like we've just seen, there's so many different setups that actually sometimes you can use the second and the third because they're not 2 and 3. So for example, on this saddle here, we've got 0.1 balance. These aren't on the same bit of webbing, they're nowhere near each other in reality. This is 0.1, then we're missing 2, 3, then balance. So you could easily use the second and third on this one. So it's all about whether it's really the 2 and the 3. You wouldn't normally, I'm trying to think of a situation, but I can't think of any saddle that you would use 2 and 3. You might use the second and the third strap, like in this case, but if we're calling them by their names that we've named them today, 0.1, 2, 3 balance, I can't think of any situation actually where you would use 2 and 3 together. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to say is there's a difference between the names we've called them here, 1, 2, 3, and then being first, second and third, because like they're not always the first, second and the third. I'm just going on and on. And I hope you understand what I mean. If you don't understand what I mean, then please comment below and just say you don't understand what you mean because you're a twat, and I will try and simplify it a bit more. I am trying to really simplify it now, so I'm not sure I can simplify it more, but I will try. But if you've got any questions anyway, ask below. It's to do with where they come from in the tree. They're little bits of webbing. So when you get an eye for it, and actually just looking at this one's a really good example. You get an eye for it and you can see it's dead easy to see where the point comes from, because it comes from that little point pocket, that little stitched in sort of semicircle there. You can feel on there that it's on the tree, on the point of the tree, which is a hard, fixed part of the tree, and we can feel it really easily. So that's dead easy. So if you've got a point strap, you're going to know when you lift up your flap of your saddle and have a look and feel, and I'm pretty sure you'll find it fairly easy to know if you're using a point strap. When you think of what we've named as 1, 2 and 3, if you look at them here, they sort of sit about midway on the flap, and that's because they're there to be used as like the standard girthing, and they're there to give you like balance, really. They're there to be centralized and balanced. These are the ones that we add on to do a special job. These are to hold you on. These are extra ones to do a specific job. Point strap, balance strap, they've got their own job. That's why they've got a proper name. These are just 1, 2 and 3. They don't even have a proper name because their job is just to keep your saddle on, really. And ideally, when using a saddle with these 3 straps, you'd use the first and the third rather than the first and the second, just because it gives you a little bit more like width, spreading out. What's the word? Like more, that gives you a little bit more width, breadth, spreading, pressure distribution. Oh, I don't know, we know what I mean. It gives you a little bit more that. Obviously not as much as if you went to the point and the balance. That would give you loads, so lots more kind of, so the wider apart they are, the more balance you get and the more security you get. But it doesn't mean you want to use them like the point and balance on everything, because if you don't need it, don't use it. Use your normal girthing. And again, these point straps, balance straps, any different kind of other girthing should only ever be done in conjunction with your qualified saddle fitter. Say it all the time. Bored of hearing myself say it, so I know that you're bored of hearing me say it, but it's true, it's really true. You can do a lot of damage using the wrong girthing. So how do you know if your back strap is a balance strap or just a number 3 strap? Well, you can see on this saddle here, the balance strap is quite set back. It's right kind of towards the back of the flap. When we look at this one here, this is the same. This has got a little balance strap. And this one is on what's called a sliding V-web. Just to confuse you some more, there's different types of balance straps that you can get. This is a little self-adjusting V, sliding V, adjusting V, wobbly V, Y, anything, whatever you want to call it. It's on a special little bit of webbing that means it can move a little bit. We can do loads with this in terms of making one balance strap slightly stronger than the other and stuff like that. But again, that's all for us to do, not for you to do. But you can see even this one, this little bit of V, it comes from the very back of the flap area. So that's what makes that a balance strap. And then we look at some of these specifically on like the adjustable saddles, so the Kenton Masters, the Thorougoods, the Wintec, the Bates. So this is a little Wintec. So these often have straps that you can move about yourself. So this point strap comes from the point. You can see that little stitched point pocket. That would be your first strap. That would be your third strap, because look at the gap between them. And then this here would be your balance strap. So if you wanted to use 1 and 3, so your normal girthing on this saddle, you'd use your second and your third. But you've been told never to use your second and your third, haven't you? I've done a video specific to Kenton Masters saddles, but it covers Kenton Masters, Thorogoods, and even lots of these Wintec and Bates saddles. So I'm going to pop a link up to that somewhere up there, and you can click on that and watch that later if you want. And that is talking about how to use these type of saddle girthing things, because actually these are quite different than a normal girth saddle in the way that you can move them around. And again, a lot of people think this front strap is the normal number 1 strap, and it's not. It's the point strap, and you know that now. Because how? Because it comes from that point. Yeah, point 1, 3, balance, if we're calling them those names. Maybe we should call them different names. Point, Valerie, Kevin, balance. You would be fooled into thinking that I live on the M25, judging by the amount of cars that have gone past since I started filming. I don't. I live in the middle of nowhere. We get about 3 cars a day and about 8 tractors. But today, for some reason, they heard I was filming out the front and they've all decided to drive past 100 times each. Either that, or there's a road around here somewhere closed and they're using our little road as a cut through. So yeah, so if you're interested in this more modern type where you can move your own girth straps around, then check that video out. You'll find it useful. If you're too late and didn't click on the little thing I put up there somewhere, then just have a look through my videos, and I think I've called it Kenton Masters, how to girth a Kenton Masters saddle, I think it is. So let's have a look at another setup. Let's have a look at this setup. So this setup here has 4 straps. 1, 2, 3, 4. What straps are these? What straps do you use? If you just want to use your normal first and third, then what straps are you going to use? Well, let's have a look at them. So this one is the point strap, because it comes from the point of the tree. We know that one. and this one here comes from the very back, so this is a balance strap. So what are these? So these ones here are 1 and 3. So number 2 just doesn't exist on this saddle, and that is because really number 2 is just there in case of an emergency. Really just there in case one of your other girth straps snaps and you need to use it as an emergency. And so in that case, with this saddle here, you've got 4 straps. You can just reuse one of the other straps. You don't need that number 2 strap there. So instead you can just have 0.13 balance. So not every saddle with 3 straps has 1, 2, 3. Not every saddle with 4 straps has 0.123. Sometimes it's 1, 2, 3 balance. Sometimes in this case it's 0.13 balance. It all really varies. Did that make any sense? I hope so. Because I feel like it does in my head, but that's because I know what I'm trying to say. But then sometimes I think, am I actually saying what I'm trying to say? What I want you to do now is to look at your saddle. If you're not 100% sure what straps you have on your saddle, I want you to look at them. I want you to lift that flap up and have a look at your girth straps. Have you got 3 straps like standard? If so, are they 1, 2, 3? Or are they 0.12, 0.13, 0.1 balance? Have a look and see what you've got and see if you know what they are. And if you don't, pop me a comment below and I'm happy to answer anything I can answer within a reason. Please don't like date me. I keep getting ones that say date me. I don't want to date you. I'm married. I'm a really bad date. I get drunk after half a Pimm's. I like lobster and steak. You don't want to date me. I'm very high maintenance. However, if you have any other questions other than whether I want to go on a date with you, then please pop them below, have a look at your straps, see what you've got, see if you understand it, and keep your eye out for the video about point straps and balance straps. Probably going to be entitled, What's the Point? Because I think that's genius. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was in some way useful to you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and ask as many questions as you can. These channels take a lot of work and any kind of interaction is really, really, really appreciated. Don't forget to check out all my other videos. I've done bazillions on the subject of saddles and stuff like that. And I've got loads coming up that's going to be fun and exciting, especially now. Thank God the summer is in the air. It's back. The sun is shining. We're going to get some nice outdoor videos, fingers crossed, with some horses and other lovely things like that. I hope that was useful anyway. Take care, stay safe, everybody. Keep staying safe because it's a crap time still. But soon it'll be over. Soon we'll be back in the beer gardens having fun. Take care. Mwah. Lots and lots of love.